All right, welcome to Mountain Crypto. Just thought I would check in with everybody, talk about the market, talk about what's going on out there, all kinds of fun. Is the market going up? Is it going down? I mean, the quick story is the market is still in a down, in a bear overall, but we've had we've had a boost. So we dropped down into the 60s and now we're in the 70s. So some folks thinks that that's going to be a great, wonderful recovery and that we could go up to 75. If we hit 75, we'll keep going. If we hit 100, maybe we'll keep going. Or if we hit 125,000 K per Bitcoin, we'll keep going. So it looks like we are live streaming, so that's good. We'll keep going. Okay, cool. If All right, so I can see what's going on. The live chat is going. All right, let's take a look at some of the fun stuff. I've got a bunch of charts for you. We'll do the fun stuff at first, and then after that, we'll just go through some other market indicators if you want. This is a really good chart. Charts.bitbo.io. You can look at the 50 to 200 day moving average, and you can see here that the yellow is the 50 day, the blue is the 200 day, and then the green is the actual price action. So let's see if we can zoom in here a little bit because we can't really make this too legible here. Let's look at the last, we'll just try to get a snapshot here. Boom. All right. So that looks pretty good. If you look here, which this really puts a lot of numbers in the way, but if you look over here, this is the January 2026 right down here at the bottom right-hand side, at least the way I'm looking at it. Whoop, what happened there? Don't want that. Go back one. Oh, shoot. Darn it. All right, let's pull this back up again. Okay, let's try this again here. I'm going to zoom in. This usually works pretty good. All right. All right, there we are. We've got the 50 day and the 200 day moving average, okay? I'm going to get this little box out of the way so we can kind of see. So you can see there above November 2025, right there, the 50 day moving average starts to slope down. And that cross there is sometimes known as a death cross, where it crosses down below the 200 day moving average. So yeah, not real great. Definitely puts us in a down market. You can see when they cross the other way, like back on November 2024, you see they cross the other way, then Bitcoin's price goes up. So that's kind of what we need to see happen, where those moving day averages are not going that direction. And when the price starts to go above, okay, so after the yellow line goes down, if the price goes above, that could pull the, so you look right over here, just before May 2025, you can see that the 50 day went below the 200 moving day, and the price was way down there, and then it started to go up. Well, as it stayed up, then the 50 day went and crossed back up over the 200 day moving day, and the market tended to fall, to stay, along that 50 day moving average, which is usually more favorable. It's always favorable when the 200 day is below it, and it's almost not so favorable over the market long term, say, a couple years, year or two. And that's what we're experiencing now is the 200-day moving day average is above the 50-day, and not really great. Okay, so we'll look at this again here, see if we can get rid of this. Still kind of learning this chart here. We get rid of this here. Boom. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Is that? Yeah. Okay. So now we're back to 2011. So a little harder to read here, but you can still make out that the 200-day moving average is quite a bit above. Not good. We're still in a bull market. So we could hit lower lows, and that's not really a great thing. So if we can take this off, cannot get that off. So let's just take a look at a few other charts. We'll go to CoinGecko here, pull this up, and we'll look at the market. Total market, 2.5 trillion. That's really not good. Bitcoin is not going to be cranking when we're under, 300 trillion, 3 trillion. We need to be like 4, 5, 6 for there really to be a bull market. We just never really had a great bull market this year. Plain and simple, just didn't happen. So if we look, I like to look at the 3-month. It looks good when I think it was the 6-month I looked at. But anyway, you got here, you've got this low here of 63. Then you got a low here, 63. And then you could theorize that, oh, here's a higher low, here's a higher low. I don't know. I don't think that counts. This one here, 66 is higher, right? And then up here, you could say, oh, that's higher. Then up here is higher. And then up here, we are right about the same as this one. See, so you had 70, you dipped down to 70, but now, yeah, we're a little higher, 71. So it's acting like it wants to go up, but because of where we are on the moving averages, it's really hard to trust that anything that is up would be anything more than, like, I wouldn't say like a quick dead cat bounce, but, a false bear, right? A false bull, right? A bull trap or a bear trap. I guess it would be a bear trap because it makes you think, oh, I'm out of the bear. But all these places are probably good to buy. Of course, this 60,000 down here, when we hit that low of, I think it was 60. Yeah, right in here somewhere. And right in here. These low 60s, I saw it spike down to almost 60 one night for a brief second. So these low 60s are all great places to buy. If you're dollar cost averaging, not investment advice, but dollar cost average, if you can, put a little timing into the dollar cost average, well, if you dollar cost over here at 96, like I did some of my Bitcoin, you could definitely say, man, it would have sure been a lot better to dollar cost down here in the 60s, right? So, yeah, now that the bear has been confirmed, officially they say since October. So, yeah. Just a sideways market. All right. I know. I'm really slow today. Sorry. Fear and greed. This is an indication, too, that it might be a good time to dollar cost average, we were in extreme fear down here, in extreme fear. Now we're in fear. Extreme fear is usually great places to pick up some Bitcoin um, over time. And let's see, what other scales do we have here? Blocks. I don't know that that's a big deal. I'm not too worried about that. This does tell me the how many Satoshis I can get for a dollar. 1,408. If you've been listening to me for a while, I feel like anytime you get 1,000 stats or more, which is 1/1 millionth of a Bitcoin, because it takes 100 million or 1/1 million. It's 1/100th of a million, right? So there's 100 million Satoshis in each Bitcoin. Altcoin seasons, kind of like fear and greed in a way. Um, if everybody's all excited, then probably altcoin season is probably up. Um, right now, like down in here would have been the time to buy the altcoins. Way down in here. There is a chance that if this uptrend continues, if you're a quick trader, that a good altcoin might be a trade. I'm not making any of those trades. But if you're a gambling man, you might, or woman, you might want to check that out. Let me show you. I thought this was pretty interesting thing to also think about. So there's already over 20 million Bitcoins that are in existence, and that leaves less than 1 million Bitcoins left. So they are getting rarer. You probably are listening to other news sources and knowing that Michael Saylor's buying, different companies are buying up the Bitcoin, and less for you and me. The banks, they're going to buy Bitcoin if they're not already buying it. So 450 Bitcoins per day, that's all that's being made. And the sale price of Bitcoin right now is pretty close to right about what the cost is to make them. So that's another factor that tells us we're in the bottom. If we do hit $60,000 range or even a $50,000 range, it's not going to be for a long time. This will be something very quick, moments, days, weeks at best. So this is price prediction over at coincodex.com. It gives a projection based on the 20-day MACD, the 50-day MACD, relative strength indexes, and also other chart predictions and trends. It's not a guarantee, but these are the predictions that kind of tell us, what direction Bitcoin might be headed in. Right now, these things are not tracking a bull market for a long time. So according to these market indicators, we have a long time to go. And Bitcoin is not going to go up a huge amount until about 6 months from here, according to this prediction. So hitting over $75,000 and maintaining it, these numbers may have to be proved again, and it could take a month or 3 months or 6 months, and then they would be retested. So this could be a long haul that we're in for, with Bitcoin going sideways and maintaining the right around the $70,000 to high close to $80,000 price range. So I take this price prediction with a grain of salt, but it does let you know, when you take all of the market trends and kind of look at them, where we're headed. And until we get out of that 200-day moving average, we get that 200-day moving average down below the 50-day moving average, we're going to be in a bad place. So the money, the price needs to go way up above this 75, $89,000 and maintain it before we are going to stay on that level, according to the charts. So that's all I got right now. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's just a good time to stack Bitcoin, you know. Price is decent. If you can just accumulate a tenth of a Bitcoin and then work your way up from there to a quarter of a Bitcoin, I think you're going to be very, very happy in the next 4 years, because the cycles show that that 4-year cycle, even though we haven't hit a real super bull, we did hit new highs right on that time schedule. They weren't the highs we were looking for, but they were new all-time highs. So that part of the charts has proven to be dependable. So that's all I got for you. Have a great day and good